Let's move on.
We are now live. Um. Before I call for the agenda, CAO McConnell, are there any changes to the published agenda?
None that were brought to my attention, Your Worship.
Having done the recognition of land previously, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the agenda for the November 24th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved as circulated. We have a mover and a seconder. Discussion on the agenda. Seeing none, all in favor? We are in session with an agenda. Council, in front of you, there's a set of minutes. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the minute of November 10th, 2025 regular council meeting be adopted. Do I have a mover and I have a seconder? Discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? They are adopted. We move to item 8, municipal officials report. 8A being development variance permits 1, 3, 11, and 12 Dogwood Place. So we're going to, it's the same wording of the permits, but in the 4 motions, 1 for each location. Because they are separate and independent permits. So in front of you, council, actually, before I go to that, I'm so out of practice. Director Dubé, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. I could give a little background on this. Oh, hello, council. This request is regarding, as Steve mentioned, the same as Mayor Fairbarn mentioned, it's the same ask applied to 4 properties, and it will require 4 separate resolutions. So going into the background and discussion, this applicant's requesting a reduced minimum horizontal dimension for a single unit dwelling. Essentially, they're looking to reduce the minimum horizontal dimension from 7.3 meters, which is approximately 24 feet, down to 6.1 meters, which is approximately 20 feet. And just to reiterate, this applies to 1, 3, 11, and 12 Dogwood Place. And some important things to note would be that I believe that these 4 properties, there was a previous zoning amendment requested at these properties that was denied. And I believe that that zoning amendment was requesting mobile homes be placed on these properties. And I just wanted to clarify that this request does not allow mobile homes to be placed. However, the applicant is looking to place smaller manufactured homes on these properties. And I guess it's also important to note that this is very similar to the DVP that was at 10 Dogwood. So if you look at the Schedule A, I think it's on page 11. This highlights the 4 properties that are being discussed in this request, and it also does show where 10 Dogwood is as well. And yeah, just would also like to guide you to page 16. That's another Schedule A. And I think this one does a good job of outlining this request. So here you can see the green is what the applicant is actually requesting to place on this plot, and compared to the pink, which is what is traditionally the minimum size permitted on this lot. And the white stripes, that's the available area, so their I guess their manufactured home could be placed anywhere on this white rectangle. I'm trying to, I guess, their reasoning for this was that these lots are a lot narrower than some of the other lots. I guess this again, you can see on page 11. And I guess they're taking the price into consideration, and they also are making the argument for more yard space. That's pretty much it. I do want to mention that staff does not have a recommendation on this use or request. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions.
So I think I apologize, poor language. I'm going to approach this because there's 4 recommendations. I'm gonna move the first recommendation, and I'm looking over to my parliamentarian, because she will correct me if I propose something that's not legal. I will say, can we have all the conversation for all of the 4 of them when we're talking about the first one? Does anybody have an issue with doing that? Is that permissible? Thank you. Okay. I haven't made a motion yet, but I think you want to see, because that's my intent to kind of try and streamline this. There are 4 independent motions. So you're not voting on all 4, you're voting on each one independently. So I'm going to look for a mover and a seconder. That the district developer authorized the issuance of development variance permit 2025-07 on 1 Dogwood Place, lot 137, district lot 3512, Kootenai District Plan 14725, to vary district developer zoning bylaw number 737/2013, section 4.5, paragraph C8, to reduce the minimum horizontal dimension of a single unit dwelling from 7.3 meters to 6.1 meters. Do I have a mover? I have a mover and a seconder. It is on the floor for discussion. Council, do you mind if I ask a quick question for clarification? The Director Dubé, in the what would be for us, I've lost my page. To us, attachment 3, Schedule A, which shows the green, pink, and striped white areas. It's not only a difference in width, it's also a difference in length, but the stated DBP only mentions the width. Is that an important? It's not important at all. But it would, so, okay, so that's question number 1, follow-up. So he could do something shorter, but same length. It's not, going big is never an issue. It's can't go small.
It's a variance for width only, it's not a variance for a smaller footprint. We have a zoning requirement of a smaller, of a certain size of square footage. For any building, as you recall, we had another application. So, by going narrower, they do have to ensure that they still meet the footprint. So.
Yes, I didn't confuse anybody with my question. Hopefully I confused myself. Okay, it's on the floor for discussion, council. Go ahead, Councilman McDonald.
Right now, I'm almost hesitant in my mind, because right now we're going through the whole zoning bylaw process that, you know, when we started this few meetings back, we had the biggest attendance we've had since we decided to try to do parcel tax by the square foot. So I would like to maybe say this is something I'd like to defer, I guess maybe is the word I'm looking for, until we got more input from the public on the zoning bylaw, I mean, we've got open houses coming, we've got all sorts of, we're trying to take input from the community. And I wouldn't want to jump in and do 4 lots that maybe, if I heard even some council's opinions the last time, don't match what maybe people are looking for. Or maybe they do, I don't know, but to me, just the way things seemed the last time, I thought maybe at this point in time, it might be better to find out. And also, as I look at this, 20 by 70, and we had this discussion before, is gonna look like a trailer. So if we were looking to change our descriptors on modulars, I don't think this is going to get us where we want to go. So, but I don't want to say no today. I just like to know, I'd like to have more input before we make a decision.
Anybody else?
Go ahead.
I must admit, I fully agree with Councillor McDonald, because and for exactly the same reasons. This is a pretty hot topic at the moment, and we saw it with the meetings we had before. And looking at the reasoning behind this, I'm struggling with the reasoning being solid enough to commit to this now. I'm inquisitive to know more about the affordability piece. That sort of, and the other piece that I'm inquisitive about is this something new? Is this a trend that everyone's going smaller and shorter, more narrower? Are these new trailers? There's quite a few questions I have. So, yeah, similar. I think it's a big topic.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Gostick and then Councillor Melvin.
The other day I went for a little drive in there, all the homes that are in there are the manufactured homes. They all do look like trailers. 2 of the lots, 11 and 12, they are so narrow, like they are narrow. So if you put a 24-foot wide manufactured home in there, I believe that it would still look like a trailer on a lot with 4 feet on either side. This area has those style of homes in it, so not maybe as impactful if it was. We're talking about precedent setting, but okay, if you put this next to a subdivision full of regular stick frame homes, it would definitely look out of place, but I'm not opposed to it. And he's changing from mobile home to manufactured home to meet the CSA standards and the building codes. Maybe not a bad idea, and I know that smaller is gonna be cheaper than the landing crane and mod, but it's a creative way for him to fill a small cul-de-sac and subdivision full of more doors, more homes, which does go on with our OCP to get more homes. So, I guess it's just a level of taste. That's what we want.
Thank you. Councillor Melvin.
Right along the lines of what you said, like, you can kind of imagine looking in that spot when these lots were built 30 years ago. Unless you bought 2 lots, like say 11 and 12, and combined them for one, you likely weren't going to build a stick frame home on those lots. Any of them, really. Maybe 1 and 13, but and it is nice to see them. Yeah, they're going to be manufactured. I know they can still look the same, but it does bring the standard up a little bit. So I guess that would be the only other thing. You know, he combines 11 and 12 that he already owns. But then would somebody build a stick frame home there and be surrounded by this style of modular homes? Probably not. It's, you know, what Councillor McDonald said does make a lot of sense, but in this particular spot, I think he's going down the wrong track.
Oh. Interesting, I made notes and they've all kind of been broached.
Very much.
I think the argument on price points is legitimate and, as Councillor Gostick related to, the variation in price points and housing styles should allow more people the ability to become homeowners. Which is what we want, and it's been said tonight already, more doors. This street was already zoned for my terminology may be incorrect, mobile homes originally, am I correct with that? Or modular?
It allows modular homes, but not mobile.
So these fit the existing plan for that place that's in the OCP and was in the previous OCP, I think, as well. And they are narrow lots. So, and they still remain owner occupied. The lots are all sold. Director Dubé, I'm correct on that, right? The lots are all freehold once they're sold.
These
Yeah.
4 lots? Yeah, so the individual who is developing them, simply developing them to sell them. It's not like a strata or a rental. As we understand.
Okay, so with those comments, I also like Councillor McDonald's idea or referencing to our open house and a process to look and see what people are interested in. However, what the proponent wants to do is it's already zoned to do it other than a size difference. So regardless of input, the input 7.3 or 6.1 meter wide modular home on the lot anyway. It's not a major different one. Yeah, right, so, yeah, I'm not opposed to. I'm personally not opposed to this first motion that's on the floor. For those reasons.
I just want to say that if council, like, not gonna pre-Zoom. The vote. I'm gonna suggest that if council's worried that. Like, council seems to be amenable to the concept, but not necessarily. Not confident of this, if council wishes to take the vote and advance it tonight, that's entirely fine, but if council wishes to, they have the option of referring them to committee. Which would be screen the whole. For further discussion, if they determine that they want to have further information before advancing votes. I will say out loud though, if I may, that we're not in a position to determine design. So if one of the considerations is design, and that's a factor, we're still not able to determine that. And truly, the only thing before council tonight is width of the home that is otherwise allowed to be built there. So however, if council does not grant this tonight, or does not grant this in the future, the individual who is doing this, corporation that is doing this work, could place a very similarly designed manufactured home on this property, 24 feet wide. So solely the conversation tonight is
So I wrote down on this piece of paper. As Councillor McDonald was finishing his conversation. Something that I'm going to refer to right now. And council, trust me, I will treat you all exactly the same way. Councillor McDonald, you used the term, you requested for information on deferral. If you wish to make a motion of deferral on this, I will accept it to the floor if you get a seconder.
I'll make the motion and we'll see if we get a second.
So we have a motion to defer, we have seconders, the motion to defer, do we need to defer to the? No, to the committee of the whole, and it'll come to probably the next one, or one, that's one of them.
Next one would be January 2026.
Okay, because there is a developer who's got a timeline, I would think. All right, there's a motion for deferral on the floor, conversation on the motion of deferral, anybody? Go ahead.
I understand completely why, I get the whole background. But are we pushing away doors that we coming into our community faster and sooner? And being available for people to actually live in homes?
Councilor Melvin was first, then Councilor McDonald.
I'm thinking,
Okay, so Councilor McDonald.
I don't know somebody's timetable or how they're going to do something. I think a deferral to January, if you're gonna go and try to put in services and put in sonotube and get this done right now, I don't think it's going to happen right now anyway. We already took it away when we said no to trailers. And good for the, like, I'm not opposed. All I'm trying to make sure is that we cover all our bases and hit dot all the i's and cross the t's. So, but I don't think it's gonna really throw the developer out that much at this time of year that if we have a discussion or a deferral and a discussion. Cause I, like everybody else, would wanna see doors. I just wanna be sure that we don't have a dog park situation, that the minute we start to go do this, the next thing you know, we've got the pitchforks and the fires and are all standing at the gates and saying, you know, because I'm quite sure this was never zoned. This was probably zoned to be duplexes when it was originally built, because it wasn't allowed to have modular trailers there. And on the side of the lot, it was R1 or R2 when it was originally developed. So, you know, again, the lot was sitting there empty for since 1982. I mean, if we get somebody in there and it goes in, it is tax dollars in back into the district, and it's a door that somebody will be behind. I just want to make sure that we've crossed all our T's, dotted all our I's, and everybody's had their say before we drop that in there. Because if I was the guy in between those two, because there's not one in the corner and if I had that one in between and had a plan and all of a sudden I didn't catch this, I show up, maybe it throws me out. So it's just due diligence, I guess, is what I'm trying to.
Councilor, anybody? Go ahead, Councilor.
Well, I think consideration left that I can see is that, for instance, my son doing a manufactured home in the spring, there's a 6-month lead time right now from most suppliers. So another month puts them into June. I don't think it's that
And then
crazy.
you're into July and.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to defer. I think it's reasonable.
can I just have a little bit more clarity why the deferral? I understand we want the public's opinion, because
I just, my reasoning is the fact that we're doing zoning right now and yet we're about to give a variance on zoning. And I just want to make sure everybody got their say. That's
rather than doing this 6 times, maybe we tell them well.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
knock it all on the head at once.
So maybe one person gets caught by a little red tape, but in the future it saves it for everybody else.
Exactly, right? And
Okay.
everybody knows
Kind of
where we are and everybody's had their say about where we are.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Councilor.
Just have a question. When we had this put on the agenda, were the lots that are around it notified of this agenda item? And so nobody showed up from that then. So I guess my thought on that is why defer if they don't.
Perhaps I should correct myself on that, and then trying, if you don't mind me interrupting, because yeah, I think the report should be referencing that. No, so what this is the first step in the process of it. We have very good notices of application to affect property owners. And
So no one's been notified though yet. So that'll be after this.
yeah,
Okay.
so let me, yeah,
That actually changes. Right? Never mind.
It would go, if we even went ahead, it'd still go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you.
if I may, your worship.
Yeah, please, maybe you'll answer my question.
So what I think we would do as staff at this point, is if we defer it and we defer it to like the January committee of the whole, I think what we will do is we'll engage with our consultants who are working on our zoning bylaw and get their opinions on this particular application. And have that before you. We'll also verify to you at that point in time, the notification of the findings. We just, what would be obligated on that, so that you're familiar with what Urban Systems is thinking about this as it reflects on where we're going with the sidewalk. Because they've already done a significant amount of work, and we've already seen some of the work this soon. And as well, we'll ensure that we are confirming to you when the affected property owners would be notified. So that's what we would do during the time in between now and the January committee of the whole, to advise you as to where things are at.
Someone wanted to help me out here. I thought that I had read for one of these, and I believe it was this one, that notification had gone out. Use surrounding properties, but I don't see where I thought I had read it.
That would be it after we. Tonight, and when they do. They would say that.
But why would we approve a zoning variance without asking people within 100 meters who are affected by that?
I did get something in the post.
Okay.
Property? Oh.
So it has gone out already. Have we received any feedback? So the process is being followed. And it's not a zoning. It's a variance on the zone defined change. I mean, it's allowing a narrower house, but it's the same construction, the same standard of build. Counselor, go ahead.
So notices were sent out. Proven. Nobody showed up, nobody has a concern. I still think you have a very valid point. What if we carry on with what you're saying? Make sure that that maybe gets reiterated to Urban Systems. And the fact that, like, I'm not saying, forget what we say, but we need to keep that progress going. Kind of forget about your deferral tonight and carry on with this.
So further,
No.
Counselor, so 1, 2, 3, I think, which we do. Go ahead, Counselor.
I'm still in favor of the deferral, but I don't think continue with the zoning process we already busy with. And then doesn't sound like it's gonna be just because of the season we're already in, at a deferral of, what are we talking about, 2 months, 3 months? It'll be detrimental to the process that this person is trying to do. So I'm still where I was in the beginning. I think following through and getting, and I like the idea of getting the Urban Systems who's helping us with the zoning bylaw, get them involved in this as well as a typical example. See where it goes.
Counselor Love.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I have a vague memory of what the building bylaw says. Is this like the minimal amount? Like, I thought at one point in time it was the building had to be X percentage of what the frontal lot was, or a minimum of something else.
Director, do you wish to comment on?
Yeah, I think, so this is an R, I believe this is an R2. So, basically, what the zoning bylaw defines is the minimum horizontal dimension for a single unit dwelling. So,
It's not a percentage of what the lot might have as option for a horizontal. Right?
it does refer to like parcel coverage, and I believe that that's also listed in the Schedule A. But I don't think that refers to like a, or is like specifically a horizontal coverage, that's. Yeah, that's confusing me a little bit.
Is the parcel coverage not a maximum, not a minimum?
Like a minimum.
And if he's going to a smaller thing, then it's not an issue. I mean, the issue with the other property was
Too small.
too small.
Like
Yeah.
13 meters across, and you put a 7 meter cross building, and then you put a meter on either side for your allowances.
Right.
That literally leaves you like 4 meters to put access to the house. Maybe in some sort of driveway beside it, like,
So.
not unrealistic, I guess is. I'm like,
If you look at Schedule A, this is about the permissible build, it's not narrowing the setbacks. And if you put a smaller place on it, you increase your access to the back.
I'm just saying that when you add it all together, it kind of makes sense to have a thinner building, on a thinner lot,
Yeah.
to have a reasonable usage.
Councilman Don?
So is I thought, was it A1 or R1, is it 960 is the smallest you can build? And then is it smaller on an R2? Is that what we have here?
This particular property is looking to be 1,400 square feet, which is
Which is way more.
which is way more.
Great, but that's what, okay, then not this. But the other thing I was gonna say is, and maybe not even defer, what could we run this past urban systems to see, when would we be done with urban systems and the zoning bylaw anyway, completely, like to rewrite?
We're probably looking at June of next year.
Obviously, yeah.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Do we actually have two simultaneous motions on the floor right now?
Yes.
No, we have, that's a good question, Councilman. Well, we have one motion on the floor, which is the first lot, and on that motion, it's a motion to refer. So it's a TFER, so it's an action. I'm going to say that at this point in the conversation, I'm gonna vote against the deferral, the referral. The proponent is requesting a smaller size, but it's still way over the minimum. It's the same style of housing that's already permitted. It's a fair comment about the number of doors in the community. It's a fair comment about it's a different price point. And there are construction delays and lineups between ordering. And I think the same question can be asked during the process with urban systems, whether or not we've approved one or two of all four of these requests for variances. A little bit bureaucratic. So I'm at this point. It's the same style of housing, it's narrower, it's on a narrow lot. It's a different price point. The proponent may be well underway to bringing these units in. But I don't see the need for that. Like this one, who wants to go? Go ahead.
I'll renege my, if I can, I'm just gonna read. if we can.
I'm going
Davis
to,
will-
I'm going to say no. Yeah, there are people who've spoken in favor of that. We need to put this to a vote. Councilors.
Must I hate to agree with you. I do sometimes.
Further.
Counselor Fairburn, I've gone around in a circle and I've tossed myself up.
Further.
Seeing
Seeing nothing further on the motion of referral. Deferral. All those in favor? Opposed? Did you vote in favor?
Opposed to what?
Deferral.
Opposed.
You are opposed? Okay. We are back to the original motion. Which is the first of four. Does anybody wish further discussion on the original motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It is carried. Council, I actually really enjoyed that conversation. There were really good points brought up. Thank you, Councilor McDonald, for your input.
I would have really rather did go through a process, but I don't want to make a guy wait another 6 months to find out. So, we need doors.
Is there some subliminal direction given to?
That's kind of what I was getting at. We kind of say carry on.
Okay, let's at this point go to the next recommendation on the floor, okay? So council, in front of you, I'm looking for a movement and seconder of that. The district developer authorizes, let me make sure I've got the right one. The issuance of development variance permit 2025-08 on 3 Dogwood Place. Lot 135, district lot 3512, Kootenai District Plan 14725 to vary district developer zoning bylaw number 737, 2013, section 4.5, paragraph C8 to reduce the minimum horizontal dimension of a single unit dwelling from 7.3 meters to 6.1 meters. Do I have a mover? And I've got a seconder. This one is on the floor for conversation. Anybody? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Carries. Council, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the district developer authorizes the issuance of a development variance permit 2025-09 on 11 Dogwood Place, lot 127, district lot 3512, Kootenai District Plan 14725 to vary district developer zoning bylaw number 737, 2013, section 4.5, paragraph C8 to reduce the minimum horizontal dimension of a single unit dwelling from 7.3 meters to 6.1 meters. Do I have a mover? I have a mover and I have a seconder. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all in favor? It is carried. Council. I know you've never heard this one before. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the district developer authorizes the issuance of development variance permit 2025-10 on 12 Dogwood Place, lot 126, district lot 3512, Kootenai District Plan 14725 to vary district of Alfred zoning bylaw number 737, 2013, section 4.5, paragraph C8 to reduce the minimum horizontal dimension of a single unit dwelling from 7.3 meters to 6.1 meters. So I have a mover, do I have a seconder? I have a seconder. Discussion on the motion that's on the floor. Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Section 8B. Elk River Forest Service Road Operational Services and Road Maintenance Agreement. I am looking towards Director of Engineering and Public Works, Usman, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. You'll remember this, from a committee of the whole meeting we had in July, that was well attended by the residents of the area. After all of the discussions with the province, they went through their process. As this is for financial reimbursement, I guess, they had to tender the maintenance of the road. The BCGU strike got a little bit in the way of that, so it delayed it a fair amount, but we're back on track now. That tender did result in no bidders. I think it was just too small of a section of road probably to attract any interest. So they reached back out to the district to see if we were interested in doing it for fee, which council did say that they would be interested in at the July committee of the whole meeting. So we went ahead and prepared some draft contracts and agreements with the province. And we're just looking for council approval. They want to proceed with having staff sign them, or if they would like to see something else.
Thank you, Director. Council, I'm looking for a mover and seconder that an operational service contract with the Ministry of Forest be executed for kilometers 101 to 103 of the Elk River Main Forest Service Road following a satisfactory review by the district's legal counsel. And that a road maintenance agreement with the Ministry of Forest be executed for kilometers 103 to 105 of the Elk River Main Forest Service Road following a satisfactory review by the district's legal counsel. Do I have a mover? I have movers and seconders. It's on the floor for discussion. Director Hughesman. Does this stretch of road, can you tell me where it will fit within our priority of road plowing schedules going forward?
This section is
Possibly from our.
not changed by recent events, but the snow and ice control policy has this as a priority 3 road, so this typically takes last precedence. In pass, being that it's a plow truck route, we're typically able to get all of our routes done by 2 p.m. on a normal day if the snow stops in the morning. So even though it's priority 3, typically we get done daily. This contract does say it's only for once the snow hits, I believe it's 8 inches. So they do not necessarily want to pay or want it done more than that. It might be something that we already have to drive over it to get cemetery. It might just get done as for our usual route rather than skipping it to get there, but the pay may reflect the 8 inches rather than our procedure.
I won't do a follow-up question on that. Go ahead, Councilor Johnston.
They got a tape measure, right? That's a fair day, well.
That is a fair amount of snow. I know the 6 to 8 inches is a fairly common term in railway contracts and things like that, where it's more of a industrial use, for example, the dropping off of the train personnel.
So will they take your good word for it, that you'll say we had 6 or 8 inches and we're good to go? Like, I'm just wondering, will they come back and try to say, oh, we're not gonna pay for, umpteen times you guys went or something?
I think they would take our word for it, just based on the fact that we would be honest on it.
Why'd you maintain yourself?
I believe they pay based on snowfall.
Yeah,
Snowfall recordings of the area, and they'll just pay based on that.
Councilor Johnston. Sorry, I don't need to be.
Don't find a map for 103 to 105. Can you tell me?
Yes.
General terms for 105 is?
105 is at the old dump entrance, so prior to the hill going down. Old staging area. The old policy, snow policy, you might remember, was to 105.5. This was changed by council to 105. As that is our last serviced place.
It's attachment. Oops, sorry, everybody. Sorry, everybody, I've just done fun stuff. Here we go. I think we can say ourselves. It is attachment number 2. As it on the map. Oh, so that's. What? They got on my glasses tonight. Okay, Councilor McDonald.
Is this just strictly snow? Or are they gonna, like, are they gonna take you guys back up on doing like, well, we won't probably put calcium on, but will it be spotlight grading or anything along that line? Is that in the contract too, or?
This is, there's 4 parts in this contract. One is grading, one is plowing. The other one is brush maintenance, which is just if a tree was to fall, and sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the 4th one here, but I'm scrolling to find it. Oh, and sanding, without salt, but, I do believe though, it would not be something that we are required to do, but, the Ministry of Forest does do, dust control to their roads, and they said this would be included typically around the June time, which is something that we do on our other district-owned roads at that time, so it's most likely something they will continue to do.
I was just thinking for potholes and stuff from 101 to 103 for those residents.
People, well, they do say that they're okay with potholes, slows people down.
With people off the road too.
Curiosity question. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask it. Council, anything further? Seeing none, there is a motion on the floor. Does anybody wish me to read it again? No, you love listening to my voice. All in favor? It is carried. Off to district's legal counsel. We move to bylaws. 9A, sanitary sewer and storm drainage amendment bylaw 923.
I actually had something I was gonna cut in before that anyways, but there's one more motion in the past. You're back in the road maintenance. I do believe there may be a typo there. The second motion says 103 to 105. That's actually intended to be 101 to 105. Is that something we can verbally Gail McConnell?
Clarification. So we have to have a road maintenance agreement for the whole 4 kilometers, even though we got an operational agreement with the first 2?
That's correct, yes.
Then we definitely need to look at what we're doing.
So leave it as is for this motion?
That motion's already been done, it's part of it.
No, this is the second one.
The second, but you read them both at the same time.
Oh, we did read them both.
And
I misunderstood, that I will retract my statement.
103 to 1.
Yeah, no, I did that to you.
Okay.
That's, and we can take this offline, but that was because I see them as 2 very separate contracts for 2 very separate sections of road.
Right.
So if they're asking us to sign the second one for the first 2 kilometers, then they're not paying us on any of it. So
I think that's a conversation.
we'll take later.
Yes,
If there needs to be any amendments to it, we'll bring it back to December the 8th.
please.
Thank you.
Going to 9A, sanitary sewer and storm drainage amendment bylaw number 923. Council, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. That sanitary sewer and storm drainage bylaw number 835/2020, amendment bylaw number 923. Be given first, second, and third reading. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. There's no report with this, Director or CEO McConnell.
Yes, it was. Should be on the agenda.
I mean, there's a recommended staff option, but I don't see a So I'm gonna withdraw my request for a mover and a seconder, and I'm asking, is there a director who wishes to give a report to council before I,
Page 63 of the PDF one has that report.
who don't do it that way?
And then well, I'm just saying of the PDF copy, but yeah, we're talking the sanitary storm drainage amendment bylaw.
Yeah,
Yeah, this report from the
not, I didn't ask for a director's report. I just called for a mover and a seconder.
Oh, I apologize. When you looked to me, I wasn't sure what you're.
No. I'm reticent to ask for a mover and a seconder on a motion that staff is not.
Yeah, well, for sure.
I'm going to withdraw my request, council, since nobody moved or seconded it fast enough. Thank you. Director Huesman, do you wish to speak to the sanitary sewer and storm drainage bylaw?
Yes.
Sure, the floor is yours.
So this is coming to council as the current schedule in the sanitary sewer and storm drainage bylaw expires in 2025. So in order to do a rate increase in the coming years, this is the process in order to do that. We did add 5 years of increases in that follow the same amount as council adopted in the 5-year financial plan last year, this spring. Here's moving quick. The one addition to this that's something out of the normal is we have increased connection fees for properties that the district serviced as we were doing work in the area down in the second phase of the downtown core. So as this is something that would typically be built out by a developer, the district should not just absorb the cost. So we're essentially holding the cost until someone purchases that lot, and then the connection fee would be paid at that time to the district. If a developer bought the 4th lot in that block and had to put a water main in, that developer may actually have to pay or if this wasn't done, would have to pay the entire price of the main to get there, and then hope that the other 3 lots sold, and then that developer could receive payment for those. But there is time periods with that. This does not have time restrictions.
Thank you. Not that I've said this before. Council, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that. Sorry, council, I'm going to rephrase this. You have options in front of you, council, with the motion. So I'm looking for a councillor to move and second option 1, 2, or a third one of their own creation. Councillor McDonald.
Let's try option 1.
So I've got a mover that sanitary sewer and storm drainage bylaw number 835, 2020, amendment bylaw number 923, 2025 be given first, second, and third reading. Do I have a mover? Do I have a seconder? I have a seconder. It's on the floor for discussion. Go ahead, councilor.
This is DCC.
No, this is not DCCs. This is just the water utility rate.
So this is if I'm buy a lot Dearborn, and this is just the service charge to connect my sanitary and my water.
Sorry, Councillor McDonald, are you referring to the increased rates or the?
No, the charge itself is.
The charge itself refers to everything from the residential utility rates, so the amount that you pay each year for your water, your sewer in this case.
Mhm.
Connection fees, commercial fees, trucked liquid waste, connection fees, etc.
Go ahead, councilor.
Just to touch back on what my concern was in the past. That we are doing all 3 readings. I know it's permissive, but permits to do. However, it was never changed within our council that we would do all 1, first, second, and third readings, and again, because of that reason, I will not support it. If we're going to change the way we do things, I think it's something that we need to discuss and vote on. So I won't support this.
Okay. So. If. I guess this is a procedural question, coming out of your question. If this motion was defeated and a new motion was put forward from a counselor to do first reading or first and second reading, that would be in order, would it not?
Yeah, there is the option provided on the report, like if this motion were to be defeated, there is the other options. Should council wish to have amendments to the bylaw, but if there are no concerns with the bylaw, then
The whole reason being back to what we've discussed on going into committee of the whole, to give that public feedback one more option. In the past, we haven't done first, second, third reading, one slam. And for that reason, that's a change of how we do things, which we have never discussed as a council to go that route. And I think that it might not break procedural rules, but I think people have been on council for now 3 years and some longer. That's a change to how we do things. And if we're going to do that, which I'm not opposed to doing it that way, but if we're going to change our procedures, I think that we have to change them properly. Everything else has a tick mark that we have to check, and this is to me is a change. If we go to the committee of the wholes, that you've been following my email, but if you go to the committee of the wholes, then that gives we that extra opportunity for citizens to hear what's going on versus the first, second, third, it's done. That's why it's the procedural part of it that I don't support, not the bylaw. So.
Any further discussion on the motion on the floor? And everybody remembers the questions that have been asked. I'm looking for a vote then. If there's no further questions, there is a motion on the floor for first, second, and third reading. All those in favor? Okay. Nobody else opposed. Oh, you opposed. I'm sorry. I thought I was. With my hand. Okay. Counselor Gostick.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your words. I'm going to move to 9B, which is the water services amendment bylaw 922. I believe we have a report from Director Brooks is getting C. Okay, Director Huseman, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. This is pretty much an exact replica, other than the word water and sewer, and instead of truck waste, just bulk water being a fee. Same thing with the increased connection fees for the 4 lots that were serviced as part of this last project. And the 5% rate increases to support the 5-year financial plan that the council adopted.
Thank you. Council, as is my usual, you have. You're at your forestry.
I
No forestry.
wanted to note at this time, before you request for a motion to be made, that council is free to make whatever reading that they wish, that these are just the recommendations, but there are other options provided in the report, or if they're only comfortable moving 1 reading or 2 readings, or they are free to do so.
So, with somebody taking my thunder. Counselor Gostick, not mentioning any names, but would you be interested in moving recommendation?
I would move that the water services bylaw for 778, 2016, bylaw number 992, 2025 be given first reading
believe you meant 922.
Thank you.
Yeah, first reading, which is an introduction. There's no debate. Do I have a seconder? We have a mover and a seconder. It is introduced. All in favor? Carried. Council, I'm looking for, a mover and a seconder that this bylaw be given second reading. We have a mover and a seconder. It is up for second reading, and this is discussion. Council.
When you talk about the town center, did you say that, so if somebody comes along and wants the parcel that we were gonna do the housing with, BC Housing, they have to pay complete water service upcharge, and the other 3 lots will return it to them later, or this is to get away from that?
Director.
Thank you, Mayor. No, the example that the 3 lots would have to repay the one was an example of why we didn't do it, with the, I've lost the word, CAO McConnell, latecomer fees. Latecomer fees. This isn't the, section of town center that was the 5 lots that potentially could have been the BC build site. These are the lots that are down behind the High Rock Hotel, to the golf course. So those lots that are now serviced by a water line, and because we had a trench, we put a sewer line in as well. Those would have been lots that if you would have purchased, you would have needed to service the road getting to these.
This is.
We saw an opportunity, and took it, and
Okay, no, that's exactly wrong. Thank you.
So. Follow-up question. What you've done is you have. By pre-servicing the lots, you most likely saved developers money down the road. And improve the efficiency of the development of these lots when they sell.
that is correct. That was the aim, and that's.
Nicely done.
Won't get cheaper.
They have done.
Nicely done.
There will still be costs such as the road building and things like that, but there's a lot more material there than there used to be, and the 2 utilities.
Okay. Further questions, council? Seeing none, all in favor? Council, do you, anybody remember, did we, historically, would we go to third reading the next meeting? Do you remember how this was done?
Yeah, that's how it's very clear.
Okay. CAO McConnell.
I think you do that all the time on various, like zoning bylaw amendments. Generally on, financial bylaws, you can do 3 readings at one sitting. Because you can't do third and adoption at the same meeting.
So if adoption that is.
So if you. Not say what you have to do, realizing. Don't do third reading tonight. Your next opportunity for third reading is on the 8th, and adoption won't happen until January.
Okay.
Alternatively, we could call a special to adopt. At Christmas.
Adopted, because it's a January first. Do we need to have it adopted within 2025 to get to use January 1st rates? We can
Right,
still do
before
that.
Christmas.
This one would need to be adopted January 1. So in financial bylaws, you don't need to do that. You can do all 3 readings at the same time. Once we have to hold a public hearing, you would post it on 3rd reading until the public hearing is complete. And so, and in the time I've been here, which is frankly a very short period of time, the financial bylaws have been receiving their 3rd readings at one. So.
Okay, there's nothing on the floor to discuss. Director Hughesman, why not?
I apologize, I should probably let you do another reading, but I was just gonna provide some clarity on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd on the past reports I've done. The solid waste bylaw, the water sewer parcel taxes, we've always done 1, 2, and 3 readings in the same meeting. They were just in 3 different lines rather than being one line is probably the main difference. That's just a newer thing.
Council, I'm looking for a mover and seconder that's this bylaw 788, I'm on the right bylaw? Water Services Bylaw 778, 2016 Amendment Bylaw 922, 2025 be given third reading. I have a mover and a seconder. All right, council, you've had amazingly fulsome debate on this. All in favor? Opposed? We have opposed. Thank you, it is carried. Now we move to community and recreation parcel tax. I'm in the right place, I hope. Thank you, and I believe we have a report by Director Rooks.
So this report, this community recreation parcel tax bylaw number 933/2025. We're looking for council to consider giving first, second, third reading on this new bylaw. This bylaw essentially is to make our rates match what we presented in our financial plan for the 2020 budget year. So this is cleaning up those rates or increasing those rates as well. We also had to include 2030 because with our last plan was only going up to 2029. So we had also gone up 0.005 on that as well. There's also a statement in here, number 5, area-based rates in the chart above beyond 2030 will increase at a rate of 0.0005 meters square each year effective January 1st. So that's where we can just don't have to bring it back to council after that. This is also follow up to a discussion that we had at our first budget meeting on November 3rd. We had asked about that to bring it forth and get that just cleaned up and make sure it's in bylaw.
So council, in front of you are 2 options, and of course, you are free to make a third option if you so wish. The councillor wish to move on Councillor Meldrum. Option 1, that community and recreation tax bylaw number 933/2025 be given first, second, and third reading. I have a mover, I have a seconder. It is on the floor. I have a procedural question. Lucille Forrester. So given that first reading is introduction and there's no discussion, second reading is discussion on it, and third reading is not, there's no discussion on it. Do we discuss it?
If you're making a motion for first, second, and third reading, then there, that would be it, you would just vote. But if you wish to have discussion on the matter, you would introduce first. And then make amendments on it, you would have second, which is the options in the report.
Okay, all right, I know going forward, I get it, thank you. There is a motion on the floor, first, second, and third reading. All in favor? Opposed? It is carried.
Ooh, that one.
We move to, oh, I almost screwed up. There are no committee meetings, is there one?
For Yank, this past week, sorry, just give me a second to think about it. It was a Tuesday, right? Yeah. So at that meeting for the update that we had, we actually, there was quite a confusion. I'm not sure where this really lands, but we need to be a little bit better at making sure that we're on a few different things. One is the contract that we have with our current Yank committee member. I'm not sure what her title actually is. Director coordinator. Shelby. Unfortunately, when we had a mix up with our meetings that was supposed to happen in October and it didn't. That was fallen onto a plate that just, it slid off. So Roundhouse and back got this meeting set up right away, so that way we can start talking about our contract that is coming up. We had to talk about the renewal of the Youth Action Network with CPT contract that just, they just got the okay to go ahead in September. So we need to be able to revisit that because Shelby didn't have all the details on that. And then the third thing that we were talking about was our space contract that we have currently set up at the recreation or at the field sale. So all those three things we've asked to have brought to council right away to be able to discuss because that has been left up in the air and that's really not fair to that staff member, Shelby, to be leaving this so last minute and especially before going to the new year, whether she knows if she has a job or not. So as a committee, we have just put all those items onto the agenda. We discussed all of them and I do believe that it will be bringing forth to council for the next meeting in December. On at least hopefully 2 of those items for the contract of the space and then Shelby's contract as well.
I'm not going to put you on the spot because I think the right person to ask is the space rental, CAO McConnell. That would be on Director Dudman's.
The entire report is actually on Director Dedman's, all the items that, Councilor Bryant just discussed. It's also communications with, Ms. I can't remember how to pronounce her last name.
Erlinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those values, there are reports ready to be reviewed and be brought to the council on December the 8th.
They have a dance coming up. Think.
Okay.
Yeah, they've Shelby's been really good at trying to interact with these teenagers to figure out. Yeah, she's been trying out a whole bunch of different activities. She's been finding a low drop off for just the drop in use. I don't want to speak too much of it because to be honest, I think she's been we've asked her to put together information to be able to put forward on the use of space. So that way I don't speak out of turns on all the information she has collected, but she's been working really hard and talking with a few of those teenagers. They do love that space. It's really cool space, so.
Yeah. She's driving, doing quite a few volunteer hours and
Yeah.
doing things around town too. And she's been district events and things like that. I think in the spring, can we say about basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna, she's gonna work with Director Dudman and the youth are gonna volunteer to paint on the lines of the basketball court and the pickleball court and stuff. Rather than hiring a contractor for $60,000, Shelby's wrangled up some kids. District will supply the paint and these kids are gonna do it. And they were thrilled to do it, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So she's helping them take ownership of their space in town as well, so. She's a huge asset to the teens.
If Shelby was so inclined, she could, on behalf of Youth Action Network, do a presentation to council, could she not? On all of the cool things that are going on.
For certain. Yeah, I mean, so we'll we'll make sure we.
We did ask her to put together some useful information into a presentation, just spatially on that space, so that way the rest of council can hear outside of our adaptations of what we get from the meetings, anyways, of what is happening with actual usage numbers, activities, things like that, so that way you have a bigger picture. But we did ask for that to be attached to the lease because we figured that would be the most beneficial place to hear it. Yeah, surrounding that space, sorry.
Yeah, no, nothing good on this. I'm just curious. I just like to hear good things about Youth Action Network. Follow up on this topic. Go ahead, Councilor.
Community business service.
Oh, well, I'm still on committee business, but I'll finish up with Youth Action. Urban Wildlife hasn't had a meeting. Did they do the count, Councilor?
I can,
I was away when they did the go.
I can provide a small update on that, as Councillor Schellenkamp mentioned, he was away. There was a count done. I don't have the tallied numbers, but I am planning to bring some urban wildlife stuff to council in the coming meetings, so I will include that there. But overall, yeah, there was discussion on urban deer with the chronic wasting thing being more of a topic in the province, nothing too substantive out of that. Just discussion on bears and the bylaw and success, so harbor future wishes of the committee. They'll probably bring forward to council, as well as just some other conversation and plans for the future, so. Yeah, overall a good meeting, very, very long meeting.
Councilor Gostick, you requested.
No, it just, there was a schedule that canceled communities of interest with effects committee, they did the road conditions and fatality ALP. Did catch up with one of the ladies in charge that it's almost 100% turned on. It is back to ground zero with EVR, not tech anymore, and it seems like it's losing speaking, so if they see it like it's in the new year. On a social committee that of everyone that is affected this physical way. Thank you.
Councilor Young.
I don't know if this is where we do it, but I would like to make a motion that we committee the whole, however we deal with this, I would like to deal with what Councilor Gostick brought up about discussing and the difference in the way we're doing things, so that he feels comfortable with how we're going through this process.
So you.
I don't know if that goes into committee whole, how you do it, I'm just trying to.
I believe you're asking if in your report to council, you can give notice. There wouldn't be a motion because it's for discussion, notice for discussion at the next committee of the whole, the changes in procedure. I think is what you're.
Whatever works, I just want to get through.
J.O. McConnell, clarification, go ahead.
Councillor Gostick has asked us to already advance some of those things. And he's got, there's committee reports will bring that up and
Okay.
I just,
So it'll.
good, I just want to make sure everything has the date.
So it's the second time today that the question's been asked. It's not outlined in our council procedure bylaw, and I've now flagged it to create a procedure for notice of motions. They're generally considered an announcement of a notice that a motion is coming forward. Generally, it would be at the following council meeting. So it would just be an announcement that I intend to, and then you would send your motion, and then you would move on. There would be no vote, no mover, seconder, or vote at that time, and then it would be included in the next meeting or.
We will consider that your reports have both included that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other committee business before we move on? Okay. Tell me what it is and we'll make a decision.
Should I just make a slight request? I have to leave at 7:30 to go back to work. I am very intrigued with Councillor Gostick's comments. Would you be willing to go first in your mayor and councillors reports so I can hear it?
Okay, let's move then to if nobody minds, let's move directly to Mayor and Councillor Gostick's reports.
No official business to report over the past 2 weeks, but I am going to make 3 notice of motions. Normally I give notice of motion at the December 8th, 2025 regular council meeting that I would like to move that staff and council draft a proper first, second, and third reading option recommendations procedure that doesn't scuttle discussion as we just witnessed in the last bylaw that we passed. Second notice of motion that council and staff have formal committee of the whole regarding the inevitable forthcoming First Nations and Indigenous peoples' land claims and legal challenges to come as we are now witnessing across the country and now the province.
Are you referencing the?
No, but just making notice of motion. Just to open discussions, it's coming. Notice of motion that council and staff draft or amend bylaw to address going live on YouTube and a formal procedure be adopted or at least discussed, as we were kind of caught off guard by it last meeting and we were all held in outside of chambers to be cautious on how we speak. So if we're gonna change the way we do things, I think we need to discuss it, not just amend or implement it.
You want these in the committee of the whole?
These are notices of motion that I will present it, that have sent it to the council.
Okay. You are where I will be there. Any other council business?
No official business.
Thank you. Council Melder.
I did the Yankee report. And, quite excited about the December 8th one now. Those are good points. Thank you. And with that, I will, be tardy and vacate.
I just have one question for the notice of motion for number one, considering that it would require an amendment to the council procedure bylaw. Are you looking to bring that to the December 8th meeting as well, or are you would prefer to make those motions and bring the bylaw back in the new year?
Do you have time to sit down with her tomorrow, say, and hash it out?
I would recommend that we just have the conversation and get directions to bylaw changes, if council directs them.
I'm okay with that.
He's not okay. Okay, so we're back to councilors' reports. 1, 2, 3. One.
Just attended the Youth Action Network Committee on last Tuesday. Sadly, I'm not gonna say sadly, I'm going to Mexico, so I'm actually not gonna be here for December 8th. Have fun, you guys.
Are you?
I know, that did like came up this weekend, so it's pretty cool.
You'll be warmer than I will.
I'll be drinking lots. I'll have kids this trip, so. Yeah, that's it.
Nothing new to report.
I appreciate the Remembrance Day ceremony, staff, good job.
Yeah, absolutely. The Remembrance Day was good. Thank you to the big guy for the good weather. We were out there at 35 below in our frost pack. So yeah, it was really good. It was nice.
I like to amend, I heard lots of good comments about the mayor's speech, actually.
A second, that was great speech.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further comments? I caught everybody. I will actually attempt to be really quick tonight. The 13th and 14th, I was at Regional District. As you knew, I was going. My note to council was it was a quiet meeting, mostly Columbia Valley stuff. The Sparwood landfill closure, which I mentioned to council, is being referred to the December 8th, December 13th meeting, which Councilor McDonald will be there on my behalf. I believe it was to get more information on the costs and the volumes involved. The regional interest, the Hosmer Fire Hall and Community Hall replacement topic is, it's tricky. It's really tricky. So for just general public knowledge background is the lot that it's on isn't big enough to keep it functioning while you build a new one. So they have options about, do you put one at one end of Dickon Road, which the service area in area A is bigger than Hosmer. And if it goes there, what happens to your response times when someone has to go to Dickon Road and back, traffic, road conditions, discussions about shared services with either Furley or Sparwood or both, and the issue of the loss of the community hall is a big topic. So that's, I'll just leave it at that. The community, the core, so K, Kootenai Outdoor Rehab, which last summer did mobile repair facilities for outdoor gear, like high-end jackets and stuff that are torn and zipper replacement and equipment and all that kind of stuff. And it went to different areas in the region, not including Alfred. I, of course, said, why did you come to Alfred? And which if they're planning to do it again next year, I have the word of your that they will come to Alfred. And what the long-term goal of this is that it's going to be within the College of the Rockies as an ongoing facility at the College of the Rockies where people can take their outdoor gear and instead of it going to landfill, it can be repaired and continue to be worked. So tent, equipment, clothing, that type of thing. The December meeting, there is a discussion on levels of board remuneration going forward into the next term. There are all sorts of topics that are on per diems, committee meetings, base rate versus attendance versus performance, all sorts of things like that. Have fun with that.
I'm voting for it.
And the 19th, I went to the fire chief for a day with the 3 students from Rocky Mountain Elementary, and as usual, it was fun, you know, with big red trucks. Fire department folks did a really good job of making the fire chiefs for the day be happy, and they got a tour around town, so that's always a cool thing. On the 24th, which was today, I took part in a Zoom meeting on managing critical infrastructure. We're doing a really good job, Director Hughesman. You're doing a really good job. Counselor, you're doing a really good job in our infrastructure issues. And of course, one of the topics is, you know, highways in your community. Well, they're not our responsibility. We don't pay to get them paid directly as the municipality of Alfred. So some of it was focused on areas outside of British Columbia. Hot button, nuts button items of the last 2 weeks. Loss of office space at the UPCC, because a rental space that was being rented to a business has the rental contract was been terminated because they needed to a doctor, another doctor in town. And I am playing phone tag and drop-in tag with Adam Connell at the Union Hall Steelworkers, and unfortunately, he is all of a sudden much busier than he thought he would be on his concerns over housing for new hires and safety standards at the mine. Timing is everything, said me. So that, and that's it for my report. Yep, that's it. With that, council, we have an in-camera meeting tonight. So I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the November 24th, 2025 regular council meeting be closed to the public at 7:30 to whatever time it is now, I'll move quickly. Under sections 90, paragraph 1A and C of the community charter, paragraphs 1A and C being a 90 paragraph 1 part of a council meeting, oh, never mind. The subject matter being considered relates to or is one of more of the following. A, of personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered or positioned as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality. C, being labor relations or other employee relations. Is the motion clear enough for someone to move and second it? We have a mover and seconder. It is not open for debate, I do not think. All those in favor? Carried. And with that, the regular council meeting is adjourned. If anybody needs a break, take the break.